So we're given two vectors, u and v. Let's look at the difference between u and v. So the difference will always be a triangle. So that's one way to draw this. And the question is, where is it going towards? Well, u is positive and v is negative. So that means go towards u, away from v. So towards u is down here, v is up there. So go away from v means go down. Towards u means towards the right. Okay, so this will be u minus v. Another way to do this is to say, well, if this is vector v, negative v will be the opposite direction. So I have two options to draw this. The first option will be to draw it directly below where v is right now. So this will be negative v. And the second option is to draw it right after the u, vector u here. So one of them is going to require the triangle law, the other one is going to require the parallelogram law. Well, if I draw u here again, so pretend this is a parallelogram where these two are parallel, and these two would also be parallel. Consider this one right here, u and negative v, the red one. The sum is just the diagonal of this parallelogram. And also, if you look at u and then negative v, the blue one, you have initial to terminal, initial to terminal. That's where you start here and end here. So you would connect the starting point with the ending point. And notice whether you draw the red line, the negative v, or the blue line, negative v, you still end up with the same sum, which is the diagonal of this parallelogram. Okay, let's look at another one, w and u. Okay, now we want u minus w. So the first way to do this is to connect these two to make a triangle. U is positive, go towards u. W is negative, go away from w. So that's going to go like this. Another way to do this, well, if w is going up, negative w is going down. So we can connect a negative w down here. And so you would have u. So instead of doing u minus w, we just say u plus negative w. And because they share the same initial point, you can use the parallelogram law. And the sum is just a diagonal here. Likewise, you can take the negative w, and instead of putting it right below w, put it over here. Okay, so you put it at the terminal point of the vector u here. Okay, so it's like the terminal one point is the initial of the other point, something like that. Okay, so when you have that, you connect this and you have the start point and then the end point. So you would just connect it and you would go towards the end point. So the arrow is pointing down. Okay, so this is u minus w, this is u plus negative w. Notice they're the same vector, they have the same direction and same length, and they're equivalent. Okay, last example. Say we have vector v, vector u. I want u minus v. So first, you can always use the triangle law and make a triangle here. So this will be u minus v. Question is, where does it go towards? U is positive, so go towards u. V is negative, go away from v. So that's going down like that. Okay, so v is going towards up left. Negative v then will have to go the opposite direction. Again, here you have two options to draw your negative v. You can draw it exactly right opposite of V here. Or you can draw it over here. So let's first look at the one on the left. For that one, you transform this into an addition. So instead of u minus v, it would be u plus negative v. They share the same initial point. Therefore, you have to use a parallelogram law. So we'll form a parallelogram. And then the sum is just going to be the diagonal going away from the initial point here. Now, if we chose to draw this for the negative v on the right here, you would have initial, terminal, initial, terminal. This will be your starting point. This will be your ending point. So you would just connect those two dots. And so that will be your vector. So whether you pick this as negative v or that for the negative v, you're still going to end up with the same exact vector. And notice that these two are the same.